Nau mai, haere mai. Welcome to 3 News. Finance Minister Nicola Willis has sought to reassure New Zealanders in the wake of Donald Trump's tariff war, promising, "We've got this." The show of confidence came amid more market volatility as the US president threatened new 50% tariffs on China and quashed rumours he was considering a pause on the higher tariffs that were announced last week. Meanwhile, all eyes will be on the Reserve Bank tomorrow to see whether the economic uncertainty will derail its program of cuts to the official cash rate. There is a lot to get through tonight, but we start with senior political correspondent Jenna Lynch and how Willis plans to navigate what she's described as historically significant global economic event.
Keeping calm and carrying on as economies worldwide are flung into chaos by Trump's tariff tornado.
It is clear we are witnessing a historically significant global economic event.
And this is not necessarily the history you want to be witnessing as a finance minister. Markets in free fall, the New Zealand dollar plummeting.
And this happens just as we have been gathering positive momentum and recovering from a period of high inflation and high interest rates.
Economic carnage.
Put simply, the past week's global developments make our recovery harder.
Not what our old boss, former Prime Minister John Key, predicted before Trump's election.
I think he's better for the economy.
Was he right?
I think that John Key was a great Prime Minister, but like many great people, that doesn't mean he gets everything right.
The government engaging crisis leader mode.
This week we have seen a profound shift in the global economic landscape.
The Prime Minister reading from a prepared statement, then repeating it in front of the flags for his social audience.
Yes, we're entering choppy waters, but we
Step into that from a very strong base.
in short, New Zealand's best days
Actually lie ahead of us.
While the Finance Minister summoned media to her office for an economic briefing.
This is not a time to dramatically change direction. It is a time to stay the course.
But attempting to reassure New Zealanders that carnage is not the only outcome.
In some cases, it is possible this will provide New Zealand exporters with a comparative advantage. It could also lead to falling prices for some of the products we import.
The Prime Minister defining himself as the poster boy for free trade.
And so my commitment is that my government and I will be the biggest advocates for free trade on the world stage.
As the government seeks to project an image of having the situation in hand.
The world is changing. The government's focus on lifting the performance of the economy has not. We are aware, we are prepared, we've got this.
The opposition is not convinced.
Trust us, we've got this is not an economic strategy. I think New Zealanders are rightly quite worried about what's happening around the world at the moment.
Willis is due to deliver her second budget in 6 weeks and is confident the government will not need to alter it.
We are sticking to the fiscal strategy. We have confidence we can stick to the operating allowances that we've previously communicated and that our intention to return to surplus in 27-28 remains the right one.
Was there any consideration given to changing that operating allowance?
Well, I've always said that the operating allowance is a ceiling, not a floor. So we won't exceed the operating allowance.
But as market volatility reigns supreme, the only certainty seems to be uncertainty.
Well, OK, Jenna, what was the government's strategy today?
Yeah, let's be clear, there was no real announcement from the government today, but effectively the strategy is to just listen to Kiwis, feel the fear and recognise the fear that everyone is feeling. Anyone who took a peek at their KiwiSaver will know how bad it's looking out there. The government's played a really calm hand when it comes to this, though. The day the tariffs were announced, Todd McClay, the Trade Minister, came down and said, well, any tariff is a bad tariff in New Zealand's eyes. That 10% that we got hit with was probably the least worst outcome for New Zealand. That escalation between the US and China has dramatically changed things, though. The government, that's led them to hit the big red button called crisis leadership. Basically, you get out the flags, you prep some speeches, you stare down the barrel of cameras. Viewers may recognise that from the Jacinda Ardern COVID years. Don't worry, the 1 p.m. briefing is not coming back. But basically, there's a couple of reasons that the government pulls that trigger. One is to recognise the fear. Two is to outline that we're not going to retaliate. Luxon is branding himself as that real champion of free trade. But three, the political strategy strategist will be well aware that in times of crisis, people rally around the flag, they rally around their political leaders. So this crisis presents an opportunity for Luxon. If he plays it well in his chosen wheelhouse of the economy, it could lead to a potential poll bump.
Jenna Lynch there live from Parliament. Tēnā koe.